Hey guys, so we're going to be talking about accessibility this time. And I know, it's probably something that a lot of you guys don't think about. And what I'm talking about isn't just accessibility with things like ramps, which is what most people think about when they think of accessibility. Because ramps aren't always the only thing that should be there to make things accessible. We're going to start by listing things that aren't accessible that are kind of everywhere. And at the end of this, I kind of want you to go through a list of your favorite places and see what actually meets these accessibility kind of things. What place is actually accessible to more people? Hi! And the reason being is so you can figure it out and see how hard it is to find some place that's accessible to somebody who might be like me. Or somebody else you might know who's disabled. A lot of these are based off of my own personal experiences. All of them actually are based off of my own personal experiences, or the experiences of my family. So, things that really aren't accessible, but are everywhere. First one's stairs. That's kind of self-explanatory. Not everybody can really do stairs, and if you're wheeling around, you can't really get upstairs. Ways that to get around this are chairlifts and elevators. Those are pretty great for getting accessibility back from stairs. Another one that's kind of obvious is curbs that don't have a ramp. But something that's not so obvious with that is there are also ramps on curbs that are kind of faulty. So I'm sure you've seen ramps that have those bubbles on them, or the ramps that have like this big uplift before they become a ramp. Those aren't easy to get on or off. They're not easy to use. They're not really good for anything. They don't really work. My family's used them, and they are so difficult. The reason being is if your ramp starts an inch above where the ground you're starting at, you have to get the wheelchair up that. And that's really hard when you have, a 180-pound person in it. If you can't take a stroller anywhere, you can't take a wheelchair. Another thing that kind of goes with that is things like broken or buckled concrete, where it's uneven and cracked. My wheelchair gets stuck in places like that because it can't go over the buckles, it can't go over the cracks because my wheels get stuck in the cracks. Same with my walker. Like, the wheels will get stuck, or the back of my walker will get stuck on the broken side of the concrete. Hi! Another thing is cobblestone. Cobblestone is so annoying because it's got like this rounded and then it dips and then there's a space. And every time we go on cobblestone, my wheels just get stuck. There's no moving, there's no nothing, they just get stuck. I think first time we did that, my dad was in the wheelchair. This was a couple years before I got sick. And we were in Washington, D.C., in Georgetown, and it's all cobblestone. It is so hard to get around, and trying to push somebody in a wheelchair over cobblestone is so hard. It's very difficult to get around. You cannot get around on your own on cobblestone, because you keep getting stuck. And if it's got, like, if you run into a big stone, you have to go backwards and you have to turn around, and it's not very accessible in and of itself. Something that probably is not really thought of is gravel walkways and things like that. The reason being is they're not uniform. For a wheelchair it might be okay, but for a walker, generally not. My walker just digs in and like creates these things until it gets stuck. But the stones can get stuck in your wheelchair wheels and create issues. It's not really conducive for accessibility, specifically for walkers in general. But again, anywhere you can't take a stroller, you can't take a wheelchair. So, and I'm not comparing people in wheelchairs to children. I'm just saying that it's a similar apparatus that's used for mobility. So, and that's kind of like the general test when I explain to people where I can and can't go. So yeah, hi! But another thing is that probably isn't like staring you in the face, like, oh my gosh, this is not really accessible, is like atriums with non-automated doors. You can't open those doors. We have a Salvation Army in like where we shop. Hi! And they have this atrium with manual doors. And even with my mom pushing me and opening the doors and stuff, we can't. It's so hard. We actually have to like ask a stranger to help us and everything, because I can't pull open the door. I can't hold the door open. She can't open the door. I can't get over the threshold, because it's a very high threshold that kind of just raises in the middle and has like this metal bar on it, and my wheelchair doesn't go over that metal bar unless I'm going backwards. Hi! And I struggle to get myself backwards, one, and then two, get over it backwards because it's so high. That's another thing to note. Like, high thresholds aren't very conducive to wheelchairs or walkers. My walker gets stuck on those all the time. All the time. It's so annoying. And those things are just with using walkers and wheelchairs. It's not even towards the sensory or allergy aspect of things that impacts my life a lot. Hi! Motherfucking bitch. For the sensory stuff, I can't go anywhere with loud music or that, has a lot of loud things going on. So there's a lot of stores I can't go in. And this is with me wearing earplugs and or noise reduction headphones. I still can't go because it's too loud. Hi! So, like, Denny's, certain Denny's that have, like, their cooking is right there. Those are too loud. Even with my headphones on or my earplugs in, I can't handle the noise. And there's a couple of stores that, like, blare music, and I can't handle it because it's too loud. There's also stores that kind of neglect their lighting and make it flicker, and their lighting will just flicker, and that's not okay. Hi! Considering flickering and flashing lights are triggers for seizures, it can be really dangerous. Same with flashing lights. We live in a time where a lot of signs will like flash, like sale, sale, sale kind of thing. Yeah, no. No, those overwhelm my brain and are seizure triggers. It makes it very hard to find accessible places that don't have the flickering lights, that don't have the loud noises, or don't have a lot of perfumes or candles. Like, I can't go around by a candle section without wanting to vomit. There's been a couple times it's been close. Usually my mom's pretty good about getting me out of there fast. But even like perfume sections or candle sections, there were so many scents in the air that it's very overwhelming. And very easy to get overstimulated. Even as like a normal person, a lot of people struggle with scents. Hi! And get headaches. I'm not saying, I love candles, so I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. Especially if you know somebody, or if you are somebody who gets overstimulated easily. If you are somebody who gets overstimulated easily, you probably already know that. Hi! But yeah, those aren't always that conducive to being accessible, because it smells, and the differentiation, and certain smells trigger people. Especially allergy-centered ones. Which kind of brings me up to another point of grocery stores and restaurants not labeling that, hey, we're cooking with nuts or shellfish. Two really common allergies in the US are nuts, seafood, and shellfish. My mom walked into a grocery store a couple of months ago, last seafood season, and they were cooking shellfish, and she almost wound up in anaphylactic shock just from walking in the door. And that can easily be avoided by just posting like, hey, we're cooking this today. Just warning you ahead of time. Hi! That, if you're allergic to this, maybe come back another day. And even some of this stuff is like easy as like, hey, warning, this is kind of going on today. Alright, cool. I know I gotta avoid it. Yeah. But there's also some other things that, you don't really think about unless you're put in a position where you have to. Like how a lot of store aisles are too tight together to actually get a wheelchair or a walker through there. Hi! There's several stores I can't go into because I can't get around them. They're too tight, the aisles are too tight together, and I can't fit my wheelchair through. Or my walker through, and there's no, if it's too tight, you can't get around that. And then there's communication variants. So I wear earplugs when I'm out and about. Hi! And I have some speech issues that kind of weird people out when I'm speaking to them. Today's a pretty good day, hence why I'm making a video. But there are days where I really struggle with speech, and my speech changes. Hi! A lot. So it can be really hard to communicate with people who aren't used to that. A really easy way to, like, get around this would be to, just have, like, a notepad and a pen ready for people to be like, hey, you're not really understanding. I can't understand you. Here, let's write that out. Or have an employee that knows, ASL or PSE or something that just allows them to understand a bit more. Hi! I know not everybody has the time to learn ASL or PSE or anything like that, but having at least one person in the store who knows, and if you're in another country, your version of sign language. Hi! Just to be able to communicate. Because it's really hard to communicate when you can't hear. Especially with all the masks and stuff. And this video isn't about how inaccessible places are because of masks. I've done those. I'm still doing those. But this one's more about the accessibility part of everyday life that a lot of people just don't think about. Hi! And that's understandable, in all honesty. I'm not expecting everybody to be like, oh yeah, no, we can fix these really easily, because the truth is, those aren't things that are easy to fix. There's a couple that are, like keeping your light bulbs working in proper order, not having flashing or fading lights, warning people about allergens, making your aisles just a little wider. Hi! And having just a pad of paper to be like, hey, what do you need? And pass notes back and forth. So just little things. Again, if you guys have watched this long, it must have entertained you a bit. Hi! And got you thinking. I would love to see and hear about the accessible places that you guys have found that work really well for you, and or your friend or family member that's disabled. Hi! You know, or different accommodations that you see that are kind of really cool. You know, if you guys don't mind, I would love to see those. You can comment or tag me in them, and I would love that. That'd be so cool. But yeah, just keep an lookout, and you know, if you see something, maybe suggest it to somebody to make this world a bit more accessible for everyone. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to share this information. Have a good day. Bye!